I guess I'll start off doing something I don't often do, and that is give our team credit. To be tied for second place after the first 9 is an accomplishment. We all recognize that the back 9 is 3 times as hard as the front 9, but still to work as hard as we work to put ourselves in the position that we put ourselves in is worth noting. This will be our second top 25 matchup of the year, having beaten 13th ranked Arkansas. First time we had a top 25 matchup, and this time it'll be on a road in a place where Tennessee's beaten people by 25 points a game. Tennessee's the best defensive team in the country. They are, the numbers all speak to it as far as their field goal percentage defense, their 3-point percentage defense. They're number 2 in the nation in scoring margin, plus 18.5, all games. They're very, very deep. They're very, very talented. They're well coached. They're very physical. They're one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the country. This will be by far the tallest task we've faced.
Questions?
Bruce, what makes Tennessee's defense so good? Because like you said, they're putting up some historic numbers really on defense for most of this season.
Well, they've got great size on the inside. Their 3, 4, and 5 are all enormous, and so that length and that physicality. Tennessee. In watching Tennessee's games, there's just lots of contact, and more so than in most games. So they typically let you play, they let them play, and they're very, very physical, which can, if they're going to let you play, really can help your defense. They've adopted, and they run a lot of the very same principles that we run as far as how they guard in the man-to-man. They're obviously better at it than we are. Ziegler and Vescovi at the 1 and 2 are incredibly quick and just gifted getting through ball screen coverages. They will be the 2 best ball screen defenders we'll play all year, and they're on the same team. So it's they just are fast and quick, and they're able to get through things and take a lot of your ball screen offense away from you. And obviously they're a pretty good rebounding team, so they limit you to 1 shot.
Using your golf analogy, would winning on Saturday be an eagle or a birdie on the back 9 of the SEC?
Oh, I would say it would be an absolute war eagle. Way to tee me up.
Last night, I think your guys' offensive rating last night was the best Auburn's had in a game in like 20-something years.
Yeah.
I guess the simple question is, what kind of got into y'all on offense and be able to be that efficient with your opportunities?
Well, let's just look at Wendell. Let's look at Alan Flanagan and Katie Johnson. They're both averaging like about one turnover a game in SEC play. I mean, if you'd told me that, at the start of the season and 9 games in, Katie's slightly less than 1, Al just like 1, which means they're really trying to take care of the ball, right? It means they're really trying to make better decisions about when they have advantage and disadvantage. I mean, it really means they're both trying to value possessions, and cutting down on our turnovers. I mean, obviously we set if we did set some kind of a record, we only had 5 turnovers last night, and that's the reason. And for our guys, to be able to score 94 points when it wasn't a track meet, speaks to the fact that if you get organized and you run something, you got a fighting chance. Now, whereas last night we were way bigger and more physical than Georgia on the inside. Tennessee is way bigger and more physical than we are on the inside. So all the advantages we had last night on the interior, we don't have any of them against Tennessee. And particularly, I thought our 5 men, just dominated the game. I probably just want to say I probably should have given Johni Broom one more rotation. He was due to come back in around the 4.5 minute mark, typically to close out the game. But there were 2 factors. One, we had the game in hand. He had gotten banged up a little earlier, and so I just didn't bring him back in. I wasn't aware that he was within a rebound and a point of being a 2020 guy. I typically we don't focus on that stuff because we obviously focus on the things about being a team and team productivity. But I'm also into making history, and that 2020 is historic, and so I probably should have given it another rotation. But again, he was, I don't know the stat sheet in front of me, let's just say 10 for 13 maybe, or 13 for 6, and then Dylan was 4 for 5. I mean, they were really, really good in there. And that's why your offensive efficiency numbers are no turnovers and your 5 men shooting that percentage.
Going off of that, Trey, 5 assists, no turnovers. He's had a few really good games here
Yeah.
in a row. Just how valuable is it when your backup point guard come in and keep running the show like that without turnovers?
Well, he just, Trey is a tough, hard-nosed competitor, and he's got a real natural feel as far as playmaking is concerned. He also can, make tough twos. He knocked out an open 3. I mean, it is great when we're able to go to the bench and we don't drop off. And Trey's doing a really, really nice job.
Bruce, I know you said you were looking forward to seeing what Todd and his team did against Tennessee. Did you get a chance to look at any of that tape so far, and what kind of stood out to you?
Florida, obviously made some big shots, and Tennessee is a great three-point shooting team, and they didn't shoot the percentage that they normally do, and so it was a great win for Florida, but I'm not going to tell you what I saw.
Has that been a big factor in some of their games? I think they went like 3 of 21 against Kentucky or something like that.
Yeah. They do a great job from 3. They typically shoot it really well at home. I mean, like Ziegler. I think it's Vescovi. Is like shooting 48% from 3 at home. They've been good on the road, but they've been dominant at home, and the 3 ball is important to them.
You are on. I'm sorry. You have one? Yeah, you're on the road until your outlet game, but you've got that restaurant deal that leads into that. And if you want to talk about that you have.
Yeah.
I think it starts Sunday. Maybe.
Do we have that roster? Do you have that roster? Well, that'd be good. We'll talk about that in a
Let's talk
second.
about Mark's.
Yeah.
I saw that you might be playing the Maui Classic in 2024.
I don't know if that's been. I don't know
I saw
what the status of.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what the status of. I know we're working on it. I don't know what day. I don't know what year it is, but I know we're working on trying to get back to Maui for sure. And I do know that the February 11th game, because Alabama is so highly ranked, it'll be a big game. That's probably going to get some national television attention. So we'll see what happens on that date. But that'll be exciting for Auburn and in our community. So we'll see what's going to happen there.
So we start Saturday, Lowe's original.
Do you have that?
Yeah, it's 19.
All right, great. And it starts what day? February
Saturday.
4th. February 4th is Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yep.
February 4th?
Yeah, not too
Okay. Yeah, so we're coming down the home stretch, you know, for Outlive. And, you know, last year was the most incredibly impactful year that we've ever had with Outlive. We started off our first year and we gave $12,000 away to patients and families that were struggling, paying the bills and couldn't afford their co-pays and, you know, paying a mortgage payment or whatever. Think you're having some impact. 7 years later, last year we gave out $250,000 last year. And that had to be, you know, that had to be really be felt. And you know, the thing that I have heard more recently that I hadn't heard before is that the monies that Outlive has been able to provide these different cancer institutions across the state is our monies are now being used for co-pays and actually being used for patients being able to decide that they can now afford the best possible treatment to cure their cancer. In other words, had they not had the monies that we raised from Outlive, they would not have been able to afford the medication to survive cancer. How about that? And so, you know, if you would like to try to help somebody in that situation, 100% of every penny goes out the door. And we're going to get the money to people that can't afford the medication to beat the cancer that they've got fighting. And so go to outlive.com and make a contribution to the Bruce Pearl Family Foundation. Every penny goes out. Or, you know, buy your t-shirts. Or how about this? Next week, go to some local restaurant establishments and have some lunch or have some dinner. And proceeds from those days will go to Outlive. We start on Saturday, I think February 4th, the day we play in Tennessee, with Moe's Original Barbecue. Let's see, on Monday, it's Chick-fil-A and Nukes. On Tuesday, it's Full Moon Barbecue and Whataburger. On Wednesday, it's Mama Goldberg's. On February 9th, it's Baumauer's Victory Grill and Chappie's Deli. And then on Friday the 10th, it's Guthrie's. And then on the 11th, it's Brick and Spoon. So if that'll be out there, that'll be publicized out. We'll get that out. And you may see me and my staff actually stopping in at some of those places during the course of the day to thank them for their support of Outlive.